Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another episode podcast to talk about our favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals. Huge shout out to the people that are currently in the chat. We got Malls, we got Gingino, and myself as well in the chat here. If you guys are here, definitely do me a huge favor. Smack the like button here on your way and go ahead and make sure that you show yourself here on the chat. Right now, we are entering draft week, ladies and gentlemen. This is draft week. How are people not more excited right now? Right now, this is probably the best you're going to be feeling, the most excitement you're going to be feeling about any Arizona Cardinals news. After this, you got the schedule coming up in May. And then you got other things like training camp and all this different stuff. But overall, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be where the book pretty much stops. The NFL draft is upon us, and we are in draft week, ladies and gentlemen. We got some other people joining us in the chat. We got T. We got Flame King. What's up, y'all? Appreciate you guys for being here. We're going to have a good, fun-filled show for you guys today. And we're going to be talking about, what the latest buzz for the Arizona Cardinals is right now. And for the most part, I feel like the Cardinals have been the team that nobody really knows exactly what they're going to do. Like, if you're taking a look at the mock drafts or doing a mock draft for the Arizona Cardinals, it almost kind of feels like we're a wild card. Like, we can go any which direction. And I guess that's the beautiful part about, being at the 16th overall pick and being the fact that we've completely 180'd our weakest point in 2024, our weakest position group in 2024, and absolutely upgraded it. So now the Arizona Cardinals are in such a better state that we got the ability to go best player available. And I feel like nobody really gets a grasp of what the Cardinals are going to do right now. We've talked about this verbatim, right? About the ability maybe the Cardinals can trade back into the first round, obviously using their second round pick and maybe whatever other picks they decide to do. Now, the funny thing about that is, I don't know if you guys remember, I'm not sure if you guys are, keeping close eyes on my mock drafts, but when we heard about this potential trade up, right, coming back into the first round and getting a developmental position or developmental player, I had a mock draft probably days before the Cardinals doing that exact thing. Now, that would be an absolute dream scenario if the Arizona Cardinals were to do something like that, right? And obviously, what I'm talking about is if they get best player available at 16. And I know for the most part right now, a lot of people really, really, really want to get Will Johnson. Now, that's really going to depend on if he falls. If he falls at 16 right there, obviously the Cardinals have met with him. They use a top 30 visit per him. And I feel like there's really a lot of intrigue amongst the Cardinals and Will Johnson. But the biggest factor is he going to be there at 16, right? So my dream scenario in this whole situation is I would love the idea of the Arizona Cardinals getting themselves a potential lockdown corner. Now, I get he's more of a zone guy, but, if you can get Max Melton to take that next step in year two, you bring in Will Johnson, you got, Garrett Williams in the nickel, right? Slot type of guy. You got yourself a really good DB core, right? And then you got some really good depth with Sterling Thomas the fifth, and then we still don't know what Elijah Jones is going to come up, right? But the dream scenario for me is Will Johnson falling at 16, and then the Cardinals trading up within back to the first round, using their second round pick in the 2025 draft, and then they need to go ahead and dip their toes into potentially the 2026 draft class, or maybe other draft picks in the 2025, I'm okay with. If they want to potentially get another first round talented guy in the first round, somebody they really like, this would be my dream scenario right here, right? And if you guys been watching this channel, you know darn well how I feel about James Pierce Jr. Now, at one point, I felt like James Pierce Jr. was going to be a guy that was going to be picked up in the top 15. Now, he still can be, right? He still can be a guy that's going to be picked up in the top 15. But right now, it's just so up in the air, especially with all those concerns and all those reports that came out about character issues, that he missed practices. And, there was some reports coming out that just overall, it all kind of came down to character issues, right? So this can be a thing where he can drop to the later part of the first round, and the Cardinals truly do like him, and they see him as a developmental position, right? Maybe the Cardinals take a flyer on potentially a James Pierce Jr. going back into the first round. Now, obviously, we're living in a world of what ifs, right? We're living in a world of what ifs. But that would be my absolute dream scenario right there, where the Cardinals draft Will Johnson at 16 if he falls, and the Cardinals pay really close attention to what happens within the first round. And they got to get in front of either make a deal with the Commanders or you got to get in front of the Commanders. Because looking at the draft order, after the Commanders, I really do feel like there's going to be a real big run at edges if they fall, or defensive linemen right after the Commanders. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the order right after the Commanders. At least this is my opinion, right, in the whole situation. After the Commanders, it's Buffalo, Kansas City, and then Philadelphia. Now, Kansas City, they might not go edge, but I can definitely very well see Buffalo go defensive lineman, or I mean, maybe somebody else. But Philadelphia Eagles, they've always been one of those teams that have been very, very good and waiting for a player to fall to them. And James Pierce Jr. is kind of one of those guys to me, and I feel like he's going to be a really good player in the NFL. Now, I get it, character issues, right? But I have all the confidence in the world that this coaching staff is going to be able to get him right. I really do. Now, Detroit, can they go defensive line? I mean, they can, right? But I don't know. I feel like if the Cardinals can go somewhere within like the 27, 28, 29 range, you can definitely lounge yourself a James Pierce Jr. And that would be my absolute dream scenario for the Cardinals to do something like that. But like I said before, right? It's all what ifs, right? We're living in a world of what ifs at this very moment. And honestly, I'm just excited about the NFL draft here being in the next 4 days. We're finally going to get our answer what Monty Ossenfort is going to cook up here with the 16th overall pick. And honestly, it could be anything. It can be absolute anything, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the beautiful part about this draft. You're not going into this draft saying you absolutely must need this specific position. You don't need to do that, right? You don't need to do that. Now, we've seen some mock drafts as of late. That had the Arizona Cardinals going tackle, right? We're seeing a lot of mock drafts coming to fruition that you're having the Arizona Cardinals picking up tackles, right? Whether it's Calvin Banks Jr. or whether it's Gray Zabel, which at 16, if the Cardinals decided to trade back and still get themselves Gray Zabel, okay, I would be okay with that. But just at 16, to me, I feel like that's just a little too rich for me specifically. Now, of course, I'm going to be living in a world where I'm just going to allow Monty Ossenfort to do what Monty Ossenfort does, right? Too many times have I come on here and criticized the general manager, not under the Monty Ossenfort regime, but obviously under the last regime. I've been very, very vocal as to why they went that specific direction. This time around, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to enjoy what Monty Ossenfort is going to do. Do I hope he trades up back into the first round like that rumor suggested, suggested, or are they going to trade back up to the first round like my latest mock draft suggested? I mean, who knows, right? Who knows? At the end of the day, it depends on how the board falls, but who is going to be there at the 16th overall pick? That's going to be the most enticing, exciting thing to see, right? Because by the time 13, 14, 15 comes around, there's going to be a lot of nerves. There's going to be a lot of nerves amongst Cardinal fans because we all want that guy, man. We all want that guy that's going to be a big difference maker for the Cardinals. But like I said, my dream scenario right now, right? Right now, and I'm sitting the Monday before draft day, right? The Monday before, and we're sitting on draft week right now. My dream scenario for the Arizona Cardinals is Will Johnson at 16 if he falls, and hopefully my latest mock draft that came out probably a few days before the rumor came out about trading back up into the first round to get yourself a potential edge rusher comes into fruition, right? All I can hope is that it comes to fruition. That's all I can hope for. But dream scenario is Will Johnson at 16, and you get yourself an edge rusher of the future at James Pierce Jr., potentially at the later part of the first round, 27, 28, 29, somewhere around that realm. I would love nothing more than to get a James Pierce Jr. at the end part of the first round, because I still do think he's going to be a beast in the NFL. I get it. The concerns are out there. I get it. There's a lot of people out there that probably do not want to touch him within the teens, right? Because in my earlier mock drafts, I had the Cardinals going James Pierce Jr. with the 16th overall pick, but I get it. This might be a guy that might slip, right? He might fall to the later part of the first round, so you want to go after value at that very moment. The Cardinals can use a cornerback, right? Although I'm pretty high on the cornerbacks, I'm not going to come out here and say we have an elite cornerback group. No, we got a lot of potential, right? We got a lot of young guys that I'm excited about that I really want to see what they can do if they develop. But I'm not going to lie to you. Will Johnson looks pretty darn intriguing, especially if he's sitting there at 16 for the Arizona Cardinals. We got Alex coming up here with the first super chat of the day. Alex is super excited. I'm excited about the draft. Let's get this going. We got my guy Alex coming up here. He says this: what do you think of my mock draft? Well, if you could do me a huge favor, Alex, tag me in Instagram or tag me in X or Twitter. That would be the best way to kind of get my attention as to if you want to show me a mock draft, let me know where you posted it. I would love nothing more than taking a look at your mock draft, Alex. If you send it to me on Instagram or via X or Twitter, I would love to take a look at it. I really would. Let me just look at my DMs here real quick. I do not see anything from Alex. But yeah, let me know how you're sending it to me. I would love to take a look at it. Absolutely, Alex. Appreciate you. And FYI, we will be live on draft day. So if you guys are not going to the Great Lawn, or if you guys do not have any plans to go out with friends, or if you don't have any friends that love football like you do, we will be live on the AZ Sports Fan YouTube channel pretty much from the start of the NFL draft to the end of the first round. So, and we most likely will also be on day 2 as well, but definitely day 1 we are going to be live. So if you want a place to go, bam, you know where to go. We will be live on draft day, round 1, reacting to everything live. So make sure you go and check it out if you do want to have a place to hang out. So, yep, let me know. All right. We got another super chat coming in here from MK. What's up, MK? He says, "What's up, Mike? I think M. Williams is the pick if there." Also, you're saying Michael Williams out of Georgia? I don't mind that. I don't mind that one bit. I don't mind that one bit. If that is the case, if Michael Williams is the guy at 16. Now, if he drops, dang, that would be cool too. But Michael Williams has gotten a lot of steam, and he probably is going to go before the Cardinals or before, somewhere in the 20s or top 20. I think that's definitely realistic here for Michael Williams. So if he is there and if he's the guy, I'm cool with it as well. I'm not married to a specific edge rusher. Now, there's some edge rushers that I really do like obviously James Pierce Jr., but we've said this before, you never know, man. The first round, it's a lottery. It's a gamble. If you're not 21 and over, you don't know what I'm talking about. But obviously gambling, you don't know, right? You're going out there you're hoping that this guy works out for you. So if Michael Williams is going to be that guy, I'm cool with it as well. I'm cool with it as well. Alex says, I posted it on the chat. Did you? Let's take a look here. Alex says he posted it in the chat. I don't see it. Alex, repost it if you don't mind. Repost it, Alex, because maybe you posted it before we went live, and sometimes I don't see those chats on here if you did post it before we went live on the channel. So do me a huge favor, Alex, if you could repost it here on the chat. I would love nothing more than taking a look at your mock draft. Thank you so very much for being here, by the way. T says you should go live on all 3 days. Most likely we will be live round 1 and day 1 and day 2. Day 3 it's a little tricky because it's so long. We're talking about a 4 or 5 hour day. And it's so hard to make content when you're live with the remaining of the because I want to look into these prospects right when we get them. I want to do deep dives. I want to do all these different things. So we most likely will probably be live on day 1 and most likely day 2. But TBD, day 3 is going to be a little tricky, especially because, like I said, it's going to be a long, long day for day 3. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's see here. Alex says, my goodness. Is anybody else seeing my guy Alex's mock, or am I just blind? I don't see it. Anybody else, can somebody let me know? Alex right here is telling me he just reposted it, and I'm not seeing it to save my life. We got my guy Kiz. What's up, Kiz? He says WJ, so Will Johnson, Nolan, or James Pierce Jr. at 16. Yeesh. Yo, okay, well, Will Johnson, love it. Nolan, I'm probably one of the very few guys out there that I'm not too high on Walter Nolan. I'm probably one of the very few guys out there that I'm not too high on Walter Nolan. Can he surprise me, and can he, prove me wrong? Of course, right? If he's the pick, of course I'm going to be on board if that is the pick at 16. But We'll see, but obviously James Pierce Jr. Has been my guy for probably like a month and a half or 2 months, or before draft has been even a conversation. Like, I've always liked James Pierce Jr., but Walter Nolan's the only one that I'm not as high on, but I can get on board if he is the pick at 16, right? If he's the pick at 16. Yeah, I don't think anybody's able to see it here, Alex. I don't know if you have Instagram, or I'm not sure if you have X or Twitter, but yeah, if you can tag me on there, it'll probably be a little easier. I'm not sure if it's one of those things where the chat is just not friendly right now. I have no idea, but I'm not able to see it. Maybe you could repost it again, or just send it to me via X or Twitter, because like I said, I would love to see it. But yeah, 16, man. It's going to be very, very exciting to see what the Arizona Cardinals decide to do. There is a lot of buzz. There's a lot of mock drafts that are coming out this week. And for the most part, I'm seeing a lot of Arizona Cardinals picking for these mock drafts. I'm seeing a lot of them picking offensive linemen. Now, let me ask you guys that. Let me ask you a real good question here. What say you if the Arizona Cardinals did go after an offensive lineman? Let's say, for example, a Gray Zabel, right? Or let's say, for example, the Cardinals do go after a Kelvin Banks Jr., right? Would you be okay with that? Right? Would you be okay with that? Let me know here in the chat below, because I'm seeing a lot of mock drafts. And keep in mind, like, mock drafts are a dime a dozen, and they're based off of somebody's opinion. But usually when you're seeing ESPN, right, mock drafts, sometimes they make their decisions based off like hearsay and what they hear. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I did see a most recent mock draft with the Cardinals going wide receiver again. And this is probably the third or fourth time this has happened, and it's always the same wide receiver. It's always the same wide receiver, and it's Matthew Golden. Always the same wide receiver, and it's Matthew Golden. So my question to you is not the wide receiver topic, but what say you if the Cardinals do go offensive line, right? Whether it's Kelvin Banks Jr. or whether they go Gray Zabel. What say you about that? Because honestly, I think it's a very, very intriguing question, because it's going to be one of those things that the Cardinals can very well use help at the offensive line help, right? Primarily that right tackle position, because the Cardinals right now with Jonah Williams, there's a lot of unknown, man. There's a lot of unknown when it comes down to Jonah Williams and what he's going to look like here in 2025. Maybe the Cardinals do go after somebody that can potentially be their right tackle of the future, right? Maybe they can. So honestly, right now, I think anything could happen, but I don't know. Like, offensive line, it won't be a sexy pick, but I would understand it, right? It wouldn't be a sexy pick, but I would understand it. If that makes sense. But yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts are if the Cardinals do go after a Kelvin Banks Jr. or maybe even a Gray Zabel. Let me know here in the chat. We got Cardinals Opinion coming in here with another $5 donation. Thank you so very much, Cardinals Opinion. Appreciate that. He says, hey, Mike, do you think the Cardinals will trade up or trade back? You think we'll stay at 16 in the first round? Man, you got multiple questions there. Multiple questions there. So, I think anything's on the table. I truly do. I've mentioned this before. The Cardinals, the rumor came out about potentially trading back up into the first round. I had a mock draft days before saying the Cardinals should do this. Now, it's not because I heard something. No, it's because I would love the Cardinals to do something like that, right? So I'm not going to come out here and say I got sources. I got no sources, right? I got no sources. But I would love the Cardinals to see that, to do something like that. And it's really refreshing to see the report that came out here from Josh Weinfeld saying a source told him that don't be shocked if the Cardinals did trade back up for a what'd he say? I got the tweet right here. Here we go. Target a developmental position is how he phrased it. So that got me pretty pumped up. If the Cardinals did something like that, that would be cool. So I can see the Cardinals staying at 16 and picking. I can. I can also see the Cardinals trading back, maybe somewhere at 19, 20, 21. Maybe if they want to trade back with potentially the Pittsburgh Steelers wanting to trade up, right? I can see all these scenarios happen for the Cardinals, right? If they want to recoup another third, I can see it all happening. I really can. Now, it really depends on how the board falls, though, right? If Will Johnson's sitting there at 16 and they do decide to trade back, that's going to be something that is going to be a hard pill to swallow. But like I said, I'm going to put all my faith in Monty Ossenfort this time around. All my faith is I'm going to say, Monty Ossenfort, please cook up something, because so far in the draft, he hasn't really done anything that's going to make me say, man, you don't know what you're doing, right? I think he's actually had some pretty solid drafts, right? He's built the foundation of the Arizona Cardinals right now. I think he's a much better drafter than the last regime. Has it been a couple picks that maybe, has not looked too great? Yeah, of course. You're not going to be batting 1,000, right? You're not going to be batting 1,000, right? Sometimes you do want to accumulate more draft picks to take more swings, right? But it just depends on who falls at 16 there, right? Depends on what happens at 16. But yeah, everything that you said here, Cardinals opinion, I can see anything happening. I can see the Cardinals picking at 16. If there's a player they really, really like, if the draft board falls to their favor and they got 4 or 5 prospects they really like, but there's an option to trade back, I could see that happening too. And I could also see the Cardinals trading up, because that's something that I would love to see, right? I would love to see the Cardinals trading up, potentially getting themselves another first round pick in the later parts of the draft if somebody wants to recoup or get more draft capital. I would love that, man. I would love it. We got some chats coming in here. I still do not see my guy Alex's draft. So Alex, if you're still in the chat, uh best way to do it, like I said, send it to me via X or Twitter, or tag me, or just send me a DM here on Instagram. If not, I apologize. Let's keep this going here. Got a lot of people in the chat. There's a lot of excitement right now amongst the Arizona Cardinals fan base, and yeah, you should be. You should be very, very excited. This is an exciting time and an exciting week. Any news that I hear, I will relay it back to you guys in a heartbeat. That's what I do here. All right, Junior in the chat says, I'd much rather Kelvin Banks Jr. Than Zabel. He's played tackle in college, but he's a more fit to be a center or a guard in the NFL. That's fair. Okay. So that's another topic to talk about, Junior. Great call out. So you would rather go after Kelvin Banks Jr. based off of positional. You think he's going to fit a lot more in the NFL to play that specific position compared to a Gray Zabel, where you think he's more of an inside guy, right? That's fair. That's fair. That's absolutely fair. Keenan in the chat says Abuka or Nolan. Wow. Are you saying Abuka at 16, or are you saying Abuka if the Cardinals do trade up? Oh, sorry, trade back into the first round. My question is to you there, because Highness says Abuka will be gone. I think Abuka can be there at 16, but that's the thing, right? I don't think the Cardinals are going to use a 16th overall pick, or at least in my assessment, when it comes down to my percentages, I don't think, like, it's like 85% they're going to go D line, right? Oh, I'm sorry, or trenches. I'm sorry, trenches. Like 85%. There's still like 10% to 15% that a wide receiver might be attainable. Like, I'm one of those guys that feel like anything's on the table, but I'm curious. Are you saying Abuka at 16, or are you saying Abuka trading back if he falls in the later part of the first round? Let me know what your guys' thoughts. Highness says, I'm with Banks. Okay. So you would like Banks. And that's the thing, man. That's the beautiful part of this draft. There's so many prospects. There's so many prospects in this year that I would actually be okay with. Like, I would actually be okay with it. Like, right now, it's still defensive line / edge for me right now, right? And obviously defensive line and edge is one and the same, well, kind of. But like, me right now, it's 16th overall. I would rather see an edge rusher being taken over an interior guy personally, but it depends who falls, right? But also, I would like to see Will Johnson if he's there at 16. So, I go back and forth. I go back and forth with a lot of different prospects, but there's a lot of prospects that could definitely very well fall to the Cardinals. And I'm just excited, man. This is going to be an exciting time. Heinz says not on a wide receiver. Gotcha. Agent 47 says, I hope so. Defensive line, offensive line, or cornerback. So you want defense, huh? So you just want defense. That's fair. That's fair. I'm favoring defense personally, then offense, but I'm not going to lie to you. There is some intriguing guys, especially if they fall to the later part of the first round, which I actually would love to absolutely see. Let's take a look here. We had a lot of, we can look at some mock drafts and see where the Cardinals are. Let's take a look. Kenneth Grant can also be another possibility as well. I do see a mock draft here from the LA Times. And they got us going after Kenneth Grant. Yo, anything that's all I'm gonna say. Anything's on the table right now. Anything's on the table right now. Keenan says these edges don't seem worth the 16th overall. Okay, fair. Let's see here. Highness in the chat says, I can see some other teams trading up for our 16th pick. I can see other teams trading up for a 16th pick for another pick, say maybe a second. Josh Simmons at 16. Well, I like Josh Simmons personally. I like Josh Simmons. It's just the concern with Josh Simmons with the injury. I get it, right? I get it. I mean, granted, he was one of my first guys that I had mocked over to the Cardinals, and where my very first like mock draft 1.0, I had Josh Simmons coming to the Cardinals, right? And I got a lot of flack for that. But being the fact that we like Ohio State guys, and we did get Justin Fry as our O-line coach, I don't know, it just kind of makes sense. You do like Walter Nolan more than Grant? Okay. I sent it to you via Instagram. Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, let's take a look here. My guy Alex has sent me something via Instagram, which I will be looking at here. Looking. I'm starting to think there's some sort of Okay. Let's do this. Let me refresh. Maybe it's under hidden requests, maybe. I don't know, Alex. I'm not sure if it's meant to be. I'm not seeing a darn thing. I'm not seeing a darn thing right now, Alex. I got nothing new. I got nothing. Yeesh. All right, let's keep up with the chat here. I'm just sad for Alex. I don't see it. I don't see it. Junior in the chat says trenches, specifically defensive line, should be priority. Personally, I like Donovan Ozuraku. Had a lot of production for Boston College. D-line, what are your thoughts on him as a prospect? I like Donovan Ozuraku. I really do. But to me, at 16, it might be a little too rich. Like, if the Cardinals trade back and get themselves a Donovan Ozuraku, I would be cool with that, right? But, like, to me, like, now, obviously, opinions are opinions, right? We can all look at some sort of highlight reel. We can all look at film, and we can kind of take away things that we really like out of a specific player. If at 16, if we're talking about edge players, there's 3 edge players that I really do like. Really do like at 16, right? 3 of them. That's going to be Michael Williams. And unfortunately, the other 2 have character issues. Mike Green. I don't know if the Cardinals are in on Mike Green. I know the SA allegations really hurt his draft stock, but this guy's an absolute beast. Like, if you're looking for a really, really good player, Mike Green probably can be that guy. But I get it. There is a lot of concerns with the SA allegations, and some teams probably don't want to touch that. Maybe Monty won't want to touch that type of player, right? So we don't know. And then the other guy with the concerns is James Pierce Jr., right? So I do like Donovan Ozuraku as well. So I'm not that I don't like him. It's just if the Cardinals do want to go that direction, trade back and maybe go ahead and land him there. I feel like that would make me a little bit happier. But like I said, I would be on board with anybody. Like, the Cardinals really have to whiff this for me not to be happy. Like, I feel like right now the Cardinals put themselves in a position, specifically in this offseason with the moves that they made in free agency, that they can go best player available. But their best player available, their board is going to be different than my board, right? Like who I have ranked is going to be different than them. So obviously they're going to take who they want, and that's cool. I'm cool with it. Is Mike Green got a top 30? I don't think he did. And that's the thing. I've been looking at all these things. I don't think Mike Green had a top 30 visit with the Cardinals. So that's kind of where I'm kind of standing back a little bit and saying, okay, well, they might not truly like that's what kind of gets me to stand back a little bit and say they might not be on Mike Green, right? But I do like him. I think Mike Green's a really, really good player. It's just those SA allegations might be a little too much um uh to look past for Monty Osifar in this regime. So I like him, but I don't think that they use a top 30 visit on him. I don't think they used a top 30 visit on him. So that's why in my mock drafts, I stopped mocking him to the Cardinals. I stopped mocking him over to the Arizona Cardinals. Let's see here. Still looking for Alex's chat. Still nothing. Yeah, still nothing. I think I sent it. Yeah, not seeing it, man. I don't know what it is. What's your screen name, if you don't mind me asking on Instagram? Is it your name? Because yeah, I'm not seeing it at all. The last message I got on the hidden DMs was a week ago. So nothing recent. I get a lot of spam. I get a lot of spam. It's just, yeah, I don't see it, man. Agent 47 says the DL from Oregon didn't get the visit with us too. Harmon, Derek Harmon, right? Yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of Cardinal fans that want him as well. I'm not. If the Cardinals trade back, I would be okay with it. I would be okay if the Cardinals traded back if they wanted to get a Derek Harmon, right? 21 years old, 311 pounds. I understand why Cardinal fans are excited with the idea of potentially getting somebody like him, right? 27 solo tackles, 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, right? I get it. I understand it. It's just trade back if you want to get Derek Harmon. Trade back, accumulate another third, and go from there. Junior says Derek Harmon should also be considered at 16. He's an intriguing defensive lineman who has great for yeah, that's the thing. I mean, not to 16 to me, but like I said, I mean, I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong, right? I could be 110% wrong. But right now, I'm just not there with Harmon right now. If they want to trade back, I'm cool with that. Trying to see if there's any other like Cardinal news right now. We're seeing a lot of mock drafts in the most recent, specifically this week, right? This week. We got a lot of offensive linemen. Let's see here. All right, we got a mock draft here 2 minutes ago. No, sorry, 3 hours ago. I apologize, from the NFL Network that have the Cardinals going. Whoa. Check this out. Let me do a real quick sharing on my screen here. Check this out. This is from the NFL Network. Check this out. So they have the Cardinals trading back with the Seahawks. There's no way in heck we're trading back with the Seahawks to get Tetairoa McMillan out of Arizona. James Pierce Jr. falls to 15. Josh Simmons Golden. Walter Nolan at 11. I do think that Walter Nolan is going to land in the 49ers. I really do. Tyler Warren, Kelvin Banks Jr., Jalen Walker, Membu, Genty, Graham. Wow. If this happens, look at this, man. Where's Shador going to go then? Oh, so here we go. So they have us trading back to 18, and we still get Michael Williams. Yeah, okay, I wouldn't be mad at that. But Will Johnson goes over to the Bucks. Interesting. Interesting. So this is one of the mock drafts of most recent. That's from I believe it was this one, or was it this one? Oh, my bad. It was this one. It was from CBS. Let's take a look at a couple more. This is 3 days ago. Scroll down. This one's got Kelvin Banks Jr. Says the Cardinals took Paris Johnson with the 6th overall. Started him at right tackle as a rookie, then moved him to the left side. They could approach Banks' NFL's transition in similar fashion. So, see, they got us going Kelvin Banks Jr. over here on this mock draft. Let's look at this NBC one. Oh, this might be specifically for, yeah, never mind. That's specifically for Eagles. All right, let's look at one more, and we're going to continue with the chat. Oh, see, and here you go again. Look, Matthew Golden again. So who does the Cowboys go after? So they get McMillan, and they got the Cardinals going Matthew Golden. So I'm telling you, like this wide receiver thing, man, it's bigger than people want to admit. Now, right? Cardinal fans in the chat probably you don't want to go wide receiver, but there's a lot of people mocking wide receivers to the Cardinals. A lot of people mocking wide receivers to the Cardinals. That's crazy. Adrian says, like the pick, not the trade partner. Facts. 100%. We are not trading back with the freaking Seahawks. Not at all. But yeah, I mean, Mike Hill would be really cool. Do you have 2 accounts on IG? No, I don't think so. So it's going to be the cartoon face of myself. I might have had one before, but look at, so my tag is going to be the AZ Sports Fan. I used to have one before where it was a really, really old one, but I haven't used it for like 3 or 4 years, so you shouldn't get confused. It's going to be, oh, here we go. Alex, I see you now. There you go. Alex. Here you go, Alex. I see you. Let's go. Okay, Alex. Let's see what my boy Alex is saying. Okay, I got you, Alex. Here we go. So Alex in the chat, he sent a super chat a little earlier, and he says, what do you think of my mock? So now I got it. So Alex says, at the 23rd overall, so we're trading back from 16 to 23, Josh Simmons. Okay. I like the trade back. I'm curious to figure out who, or what we got back, but I guess that doesn't matter. So Josh Simmons at 23, 47, you go after Landon Jackson. Okay. Landon Jackson. Okay. So you get your edge there. Okay. 54, Kenneth Grant. Ooh, I just don't think Kenneth Grant will be there at 54. I'm curious to figure out what mock draft simulator you're using. It might be the is it the PFN? I think they have him that far back, but I just don't. I think Kenneth Grant will be a first rounder, if not an early second rounder. But different simulators will obviously have different things. So 54, Kenneth Grant. 60, you go Tez Johnson. I love it, love it. 84, Chris Paul Jr., linebacker. Love to see it. And at the 102, another edge player. No, wait. 102, you go Jared Ivey. And then, wow, I'm reading this completely wrong. I'm sorry. Numbers here. So 23, 47, 54. So 60 is Tez. 84 is Chris Paul Jr. 102, Ole Miss, Jared Ivey. And then I think that last pick, Jalen Rivers. Hey, I don't hate it. I don't hate it, man. I don't hate it. If you guys want to show me your mock drafts, please do so. You can go and send it to me via Instagram or X or Twitter. I would love to see it. All these differences of opinions, it gets me pumped up, man. It gets me pumped up. So, Alex, yeah, I don't mind it at all, honestly. Now, like I said, the only one that I'm kind of having a little bit of like I don't know if that's possible, is probably going to be that Kenneth Grant one. I don't think Kenneth Grant's going to be there at 14. I do love Tez. I like Tez Johnson a lot, especially in the Senior Bowl. Chris Paul Jr., It's hard for me to get him, but I do want him on my mock drafts. It's just hard for me to get him. But I do like that you went in very, very defensive heavy, with the exception of obviously Josh Simmons and Tez. Yeah, I don't mind it one bit, man. I don't mind it. Lorenzo in the chat says first round should only be one of three positions: offensive line, defensive line, defensive tackle, or edge. I mean, I agree. I agree. It's just these mock drafts that you're seeing, right? And I get it. Mock drafts are based off people's opinions. There's just too many mock drafts out here that's having us go Matthew Golden to not pay attention to it, right? So I'm not saying that I wouldn't like Matthew Golden, but I'm also not coming out here saying that Matthew Golden should be the pick at 16. It's just there's so many mock drafts that are coming out and saying Matthew Golden to the Cardinals, right? That's all I'm saying. It's like you cannot not pay attention. Like obviously these guys have some sort of insight. Would I go Matthew Golden? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, right now I'm looking exactly like my guy Lorenzo said, right? Like exactly like my guy Lorenzo said. It's trenches for me. That's what my main my main is, right? It's trenches. Unless Will Johnson falls to you at 16. If Will Johnson falls to you at 16, I'm having a hard time batting my eye and looking or turning my cheek, right? If Will Johnson's there at 16. But it's one of those things where it's, when you're on draft day, anything can happen, man. Anything can happen. Chaz, what's up, Chaz? Appreciate the $2 donation. He says, I want Jalen Walker, Mike Green, or James Pierce Jr. Yeesh. All studs. All studs. Now, the only way I can see Jalen Walker fall to 16, the only way, is if the Panthers don't get him. If the Panthers get him at 8, which it seems like they're probably going to, right? A lot of mock drafts, and it almost kind of seems like Jalen Walker is going to be a Panther. The only way I see it is if the freaking Panthers don't get in our way. Now, there can be a team, obviously, from 9 to 15 that can get Jalen Walker. He's supposed to be top 10, right? But I feel like the Panthers are the biggest threat from the Cardinals getting Jalen Walker. I love Jalen Walker. I love Mike Green. I love James Pierce Jr., right? The only reason why I don't talk about Jalen Walker very much is because I just don't see him falling to 16. But if you guys did not take a look at the latest mock draft for the Roundtable Sports, Jalen Walker fell. So I'm like, I got to go after Jalen Walker, man. He's a talented prospect. I really do like him. So no, yeah, I love your list, Chaz. I think me and you are on the same wavelength in terms of the guys that can play edge. I'm right there as well. But I'll also add in Mykel Williams as well. I like Mykel Williams as well. So yeah, I'm not mad at it, man. Not mad at it. Or Will Johnson. That's what I'm saying. So it's trenches for me at 16 unless Will Johnson falls at 16. Like you're gonna have to turn your head and consider Will Johnson if he's there at 16. You have to. It's trenches for me right now, though. Offensively or defensively, it's trenches. Unless Will Johnson falls to you. That's the way I want the Cardinals to approach this as well. Now, can they go wide receiver? I'm just going to come out here and say anything's on the table, right? I'm not Monty, but we'll see. Will Johnson will match perfect with Gannon's system. He is a good on zone coverage. Yeah. I mean, we're all hoping that eventually he can be a lockdown corner for us, right? That's what we're all hoping for, that he can be a lockdown corner for us, right? Fingers crossed. RC3, what's up, buddy, man? Appreciate you for being here, buddy. He says this, a trade back would happen. More things to build than just staying at 16. Pierce, Nolan, Harmon are more on my radar. I like Pierce. Nolan, I'm cool if it's a trade back, but there's something that tells me that he's going to be a 49er. There's something that tells me that he's going to be a 49er. And then Harmon, if he's available later on, if you trade back, I'm cool with that as well. So yeah. Not mad at any of your picks. And that's the thing too. Like, you can throw multiple prospects at me and I'm like, okay, I like that prospect, but at a specific value, a specific position, right? Like, that's kind of where it all comes down to. But we just looked at 3 mock drafts and every one of them are different. You know what I mean? We just looked at a mock draft, 3 of them from CBS, from the NFL Network. And what was the other one? The other one was LA, not that one. I'm sorry. Yeah, we looked at the LA Times. We looked at two different ones from NFL Network, and all of them got somebody different for the Cardinals. We're such a wild card. We're such a wild card when it comes down to the Arizona Cardinals at 16. Nobody knows what the Cardinals are going to do. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what the Cardinals are going to do. RC3 celebrating 20 months of being a member. Appreciate you, man. That's awesome, buddy. That's awesome. Appreciate you for being a channel member for as long as you have been. That's absolutely amazing. Thank you so very much, RC3. But yeah, I think right now the Cardinals are an absolute wild card. I think the Cardinals right now are an absolute wild card. I don't think anybody truly knows what the Cardinals are going to do, because the way that Monty Austinfort talks, it's truly one of those things that like, sorry, I was reading something. It's truly one of those things that like, whoever falls to the Cardinals, that's when they're going to make their decision. Like, who falls to the Cardinals, that's when we're going to make our decision. It's the way it's going to go. It's the way it's going to go. Chaz with another super chat. He says, your thoughts on a 1/3 for Ramsey, 2/4. I'm not the biggest fan of Ramsey. Okay, so let me rephrase that back. I do like Ramsey. It's just, I know the contract details that has come out. Okay, let me look at his contract, because it depends on the contract, right? I don't think Ramsey's the same player that he used to be. Obviously, he's getting older, and I know he wants out, right? We've already heard that he wants out. Let me look at his contract one more time. So 2025 is going to be his last year of guaranteed salary, right? 2025 is his last year of guaranteed salary, at least per over the cap. Now, we don't know if this is actually accurate. I do love using over the cap and spot track as a third party, but right now, per this, 2025 is his last year of guaranteed salary. The cap hit is just, it's still too high for me. It's like, what, 16.6 mil? I don't know, man. I'm not in on Ramsey. I'm really not. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of Ramsey. Like, I'm cool with our guys right now. Like, if you want to add Will Johnson, I'm cool with that. Like, I don't know. I feel like we have a path that we're trying to go young, develop, and I feel like that kind of throws a wrench, right? You're adding Ramsey in here, a guy with not really a team guy, more of a me guy. It just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit the mold for me. So I don't know. I don't really talk about it very much because I just don't think it's realistic. RC3 coming out here and gifting a membership. RC3, you generous man, you. Look at you. Look at you. He's over here gifting things. We got my guy, Agent 47. Says, thanks, RC3. That's absolutely amazing, man. Thank you so very much for doing that. That's absolutely amazing. For you channel members out there, we do have some emojis that we will be updating as the year goes on. So you can use some custom emojis if you guys do want to become a channel member of the Easy Sports Fan here on YouTube. I believe the smallest amount is like $1.99 for the month, right? So if you want to do that, all it really does is you can do emojis, and we do like exclusive content, which we have to be a lot better at because we're not really doing that very much. But we'll get better at some point. We'll get better at some point. Promise. RC3. Good Lord. Appreciate you, man. $5 donation from RC3. Thank you so very much, man. He says, no problem. I randomly does this when great things happen. Yeah, man. True. I mean, this is a good time to be a Cardinal fan right now, man. It really is. It's an exciting time to be a Cardinal fan because expectations is playoffs, buddy. It's playoffs, right? There's a lot of Cardinal fans right now that, excited about this year, and they should be. And they should be excited about this draft. They should be as well, because the Cardinals can go any which direction. We just mentioned, what, 6, 7 different prospects potentially at 16 that the Cardinals can get. And I'm like, yeah, I'm down. I'm down. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm down for Will Johnson if he's there. I'm down for Harmon if they decide to trade back. If Jalen Walker falls, I would be down with that. James Pierce, of course, sign me up. Michael, of course, sign me up. A lot of great players, man. I'm excited about it. Excited about it. But going back to what we were talking about a little earlier, the dream scenario right now for me, right? Dream scenario right now for me, not that. This. This is still dream scenario for me right now. This is still dream scenario for me right now. Will Johnson at 16 and training back up. This is still dream scenario for me right now. Will it come to fruition? I don't know. I don't know. This is one thing that I did in my latest mock draft. Will Johnson at 16 because he fell, and then trading back up and getting yourself an edge rusher, right? A developmental position, right? A developmental position, and bringing in James Pierce Jr. I feel like this would be my dream scenario for the Cardinals to do something like that. But like I said, it's just based on my opinion. This is what I would love to see the Cardinals do. RC3 in the chat says, sorry to not include my comment, but we are waiting for releases as well to save money and undrafted players for the cheap. Fair? Fair. Highness in the chat says, personally, a character issue is a deal breaker. I mean, the things that I have read, it does feel like it might not be a Monty type of guy, right? It does feel like it might not be a Monty type of guy, but like character issues were also kind of labeled on, what was his name? Jalen Carter, right? Jalen Carter there was some character issues, and he fell to the freaking Eagles, and they are flourishing with Jalen Carter over there. And it's one of those things where like it's almost kind of like it feels too convenient, right, for the Eagles to be doing things like this, where like they always land on these really good players because they take a swing, right? So I don't know. I understand where you're coming from as well, but I don't know. I feel like Gannon will shape him up. Gannon and Nick Rallis will shape him up real quick. Agent 47 says if Monty drafts James Pierce Jr., they will be sure that Gannon will deal with them. Exactly. This is how I agree as well. I agree with this. I think that Gannon will get him right. I think he'll get him right. Gannon is not a. How do I describe him without insulting somebody? Gannon is not a. He seems like he's very, very well respected within this locker room. Let's put it that way. I feel like he's very well respected within his locker room, and he will get the attention of him, and I think he'll get him right. If indeed the character issues are that big of a concern, right? I have all the faith in the world that Gannon will get it right. Nick Rallis, get it right. So, I don't know. I believe in Gannon. I feel like he'll get him right. John Naylor, not to get confused with Diamondbacks first baseman Josh Naylor, but my guy John Naylor in the chat saying, I appreciate your cards content, straight shooter. Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you so very much for obviously being here. We will be live on draft night, round 1 for sure. We're going to be reacting to all picks between picks 1 all the way to 15. And then, of course, probably remaining of the first round and seeing exactly what the Arizona Cardinals do. But yeah, I always prided myself of trying to be a straight shooter. Some people might say I'm a little too negative, but it's okay. At the end of the day, right, as long as I kind of put my own opinion out there and my piece, I can sleep. I can sleep at night. So yeah, I appreciate you, John. Absolutely. I think there is going to be a lot of great prospects at 16 for the Cardinals, and I'm excited. I'm excited about this year's draft. I don't have the anxiety that my general manager is going to whiff this, right? I don't have that anxiety that my general managers are going to whiff it. I think they're going to do a fantastic job. My dream scenario is still alive with the latest report that we've seen from Josh Schweinfus that he heard from a source that don't be shocked that the Cardinals decide to trade back, right? So my dream's still alive for a potential dream scenario. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. If it doesn't happen, I'm putting my faith in Monty. I'm putting my faith in Monty. RC3 in the chat says Ramsey could be released and the Dolphins could trade. Boom! There you go. So, okay. I got too excited for that, but you're taking Will Johnson away from us. But yeah, I mean, you can see a world where Jalen Ramsey does get released. Yeah, and if you do want to get Jalen Ramsey, just wait it out. Wait it out, right? Maybe Jalen Ramsey does get released, but I don't know. Something tells me that Jalen Ramsey probably wants to go back to the Rams. Like, something tells me that he might want to go back to the Rams. Just an inkling. Just an inkling. Gravity in the chat says, do you see the Cardinals trading back, then also trading back into the first round for another pick? Yes. So trading back like somewhere in the 20s and then trading back up again, like with their second round? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we did it with the Paris Johnson Jr., right? Well, I'm sorry. Not really. I see what you're saying. But yes, I can see that too. I can see the Cardinals maybe recouping a third, right? But it just depends on where the board falls, right? Like obviously my prospects are different than Monty's, and obviously different than a lot of people here's in the chat. But yeah, I mean, I think anything's on the table. I truly do. RC3 says I'm here for that. Love to see it. Love to see it. We don't want the same like Laramie Tunsil again. I mean, Laramie Tunsil's still, well, I mean, maybe not as highly coveted as a offensive lineman anymore, but I get where you're coming from. Where that mask. That picture came out of Laramie Tunsil, and yeah, that hurt his draft stock tremendously. This draft is so unpredictable, different from facts. Oh, absolutely. 110%. 110%. And not just for the Cardinals, right? For a lot of positions before 15. Yeah. From one, no, I'm sorry, not through one. We all know Cam Ward's going one. I would say for at least a solid 13 picks before the Cardinals, or not, no, let's say 12, let's say 11 picks. 11 picks before the Cardinals. There's just a lot of, it's unpredictable. You don't know. You don't know who's going to follow the Cardinals at 16. You don't know. So I 100% agree, agent. We do not know what's going to happen. And I think that's one of the reasons why Monty and this front office is treating it the way that they are, right? They're treating this draft the way that they are. Like, we're just going to wait and see. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. RC3 in the chat says Bengals could drop the price if they can get another edge. You're talking about Hendrickson again, aren't you? You're talking about Hendrickson again, aren't you? I mean, I do like Hendrickson. I ain't gonna lie. If you're gonna make me choose going after a veteran and kind of ruining the timeline, I go Hendrickson over Ramsey in a heartbeat. Absolutely. Josh Sweat, Hendrickson, yeesh, sign me up for that. I don't think it's realistic. I don't think it's gonna happen, but you never know. We've seen crazy things happen in the NFL. But 100% agree. I think this is a very unpredictable draft, specifically where the Cardinals are picking, because we are a wild card. We are a wild card, right? Multiple mock drafts have us go many different ways. I've seen Gray Zabel. I've seen Kelvin Banks Jr. I've seen Matthew Golden going to the Cardinals. I've seen Michael. I've seen Kenneth Grant. I've seen a lot of different mock drafts going every which direction, and I think that's where the Cardinals are at. We're just a wild card right now. Pickens, are you talking about George Pickens from Steelers? I saw something that the Steelers aren't going to trade him. Forgot who reported it, but I personally never thought it was. You're talking about George Pickens, right? Right? Yeah, I heard that George Pickens is not even going to be like. I don't think they're trading him. I would be really foolish, in my opinion, for them to do that. Yeah, trying to see if there's anything else. But yeah, like I said before, wild card. Chaz, what's up, Chaz? I think Mike Green will be the best edge. He's so fast and crafty. Reminds me of Will Anderson Jr. Yikes. Just smaller and smarter. Man. Okay, I ain't gonna lie. I do love Paris Johnson Jr. But my number one guy in that draft was Will Johnson Jr. It was a mix between Jalen Carter and Will Johnson Jr. It's just obviously with that news that came out off the field stuff, I no longer thought he was a Monty guy, but Will Johnson Jr. was always, in my opinion, the guy. Cardinals decided to trade back up and get Paris Johnson. And like I said, I do like Paris Johnson, so don't get it twisted. But my number one guy out of that draft was Will Johnson, especially where we were picking. It was It was Will Anderson Jr. I said Will Johnson multiple times, didn't I? Sorry. Will Anderson Jr. That's who I was talking about. Sorry, my bad. Will Anderson Jr. was always the dude for me. That sounded really weird. That was always the pick for me. I got Cardinals winning 12 games. Wow. Love it. Love it. Logan in the chat says Walter Nolan has to be the pick. Then is it Shamari Simmons in the 7th? I feel like Walter Nolan's going to go 12 or 11. I'm sorry, 11. I feel like he's going to go to the 49ers. Something tells me he's going to the 49ers. Something tells me he's going to the 49ers. I don't know, though. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. if D-Rob hit, you'll forget Will Anderson, Mike. I believe. Yeah, I mean, true. Facts. True. And that's the thing. No, you're 100% right. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. If he did hit, and here's the thing, we don't know if he's hit yet, right? We don't know. Like, I'm not basing my assessment on Darius Robinson because when I was working with Bleacher Report, they ended up having a content creator mock draft, right? And the two guys that I got was Marvin Harrison Jr. and Darius Robinson at the end part of the draft. So it's not like one of those things where I'm like, oh, I hate this pick. No, I like Darius Robinson. I think D-Rob can potentially hit. It's just obviously the first year was a lot of things that kind of worked against him, unfortunately. So it's one of those things that, we'll have to kind of wait and see how it shakes out. But you're right. If D-Rob was the monster that we all wanted him to be in year one, you're 100% right. I would have forgotten about Will Anderson Jr. I would stop talking about him, but it's so hard to. You know what I mean? It's so hard to. Tony in the chat says Matthew Golden would be fine, but like you said, Mike, it depends on who falls to us. Exactly. Like, Cowboys almost kind of feels like a shoe-in. Like, I think they're going to go wide receiver. If McMillan falls, I can see McMillan going to the Cowboys, and I can see Golden falling to the Cowboys as well. I know there's a lot of Cardinal fans that would not like Matthew Golden coming to the Cardinals at 16, and trust me, there would be a lot of fans really upset. But honestly, I would be cool. I'm cool with, like, I'm allowing Monty just to cook this year. Like, I'm going to sit back, relax, enjoy, maybe make myself a enchilada, chill out, hang out with you guys during draft night, because I will be live in round one and reacting together on all the draft picks that happen, because that's, it's going to be fun. I'm excited to see what happens here with the Cardinals at 16. So I'm game. Right now, I'm still favoring 85%, even 90% trenches, but and you never know. Yikes. Imagine if BJ hit this year. Yup. Yeah, then I would stop talking a mess. Yeah. The problem is that BJ Ojolari, Darius Robinson, there's just a lot of unknown. It's a lot of unknown right now. All right. But yeah, if he can stay healthy and he hit, then I don't think anybody would be talking about too much about Edge right now. Problem is that there's still a lot of unknown. CL, what's up, brother? He says NFC West is ours this year. Let's see it. Love it. Love the optimism. Absolutely. Well, do me a huge favor, ladies and gentlemen. Smack up the like button here on your way out. We are sitting with 35 likes, and I think we capped out about 80 people here on the YouTube side. We will continue to obviously make content throughout the entirety of the week. If there's anything that I hear, I will relay it to you guys. But this position that the Cardinals are at right now, we can make videos and shorts and live streams, but at the end of the day, you just do not know what's going to happen, right? At the end of the day, you just do not know what's going to happen. But if anything happens, I will relay any information, any rumors, so you can get more confused about the 16th overall pick. But definitely do me a huge favor. Smack up the like button on your way out. For all the people that super chatted, thank you everybody for tuning in. You guys are absolutely amazing. John, RC3, Chaz, Cardinals Opinion, MK, Alex as well. If you guys want me to take a look at your guys' mock drafts, please feel free to send to me via X or Twitter or Instagram. I would love to go ahead and highlight it here and talk about it and see, where your guys' headspace is at as well. Because this year should be the Cardinals on the up and up. And if Kyler Murray truly wants to run more, and if Kyler Murray truly wants to do all these things and obviously get better, and he knows the things that he hasn't accomplished, hopefully that lights a fuel under him. That's all I can hope for. Hopefully that lights a fuel under him, and hopefully we can come back to Kyler Murray of 2021. and 2020. Hopefully, fingers crossed. That's all we can really hope for. All right, ladies and gentlemen, smack up the like button here on your way out. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We will continue with these live streams throughout the entirety of the week. We will be live on the first round. Now, another thing real quick for the guys that are just joining, this is my dream scenario. I'm trying to speak it into the universe right now. If this does happen, hopefully Will Johnson at 16, and hopefully the Cardinals do decide to trade back up here and get themselves James Pierce Jr. This is my dream scenario. Will it happen? Probably not, but I would love nothing more than the Cardinals to get themselves a really good cornerback and a really good potential edge rusher. Even though character concerns are not character concerns, I truly believe that Jonathan Gannon can get this guy right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you everybody for tuning in. You guys are all absolutely amazing. Have a great rest of your Monday. We are 3 days away from the 2025 NFL Draft. Let's get this going, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate y'all. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, go Cardinals.